as you see, creating URLs and handling those URLs inside of Angular with ng-route is actually really, really easy to do. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to create a new HTML page for my about page, right? So like about us page. Now I could do it in here where I'm just going to come in and do when, and then parentheses, quotes, about, and you can have a trailing slash if you want or not, it doesn't really matter, and then period, right? And then here I can say template, or I can use template URL and then say what URL, where that template actually is. So we could do template, I believe we called it templates actually, so templates, and then I'll say about.html. That's it, right? So in my templates, I make a new file here and call it about.html, and I'll say h1 about us, close off the h1 tag, and then we'll say paragraph tag, close off the paragraph tag, and we'll say hi there, this is about us. Save it, and we save our config folder, our file, and we go back in here and let's go ahead and route to about, and we get this error. Looks like our actual page wasn't loading right away, so I did a refresh and now about us works. Another nice thing about ng routing is if I actually just hit enter on this or refresh or go to a brand new page or a hidden page, it actually still routes it. Right, it routes it really, really well. It's not just changing the URL, it's actually handling the URL as well. So that's a very simple way to do template URL. Now, of course, you could write that template, this whole thing, in something like this as we have with these components otherwise. But that's actually not what we want to do. We want to do something more like this. All right, so that's using an external template in our routing settings, and you could do this with all sorts of them. And the actual HTML itself, something that was not mentioned before, is this part replaces, if we look back in our index, it replaces this div tag. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to have a nav bar here of some kind. I could actually write out the nav bar and I could close it off, but I'm actually not going to go in through all of that just yet. We'll come back. But basically, I want to say us. I'm going to just have this on every page and say us. We refresh, us is there. Go back. Us should be also here if we refresh in there. Of course, there's cache and stuff like that that might come into effect here, but if I click on these other ones, it does actually take me, and us is still there. So this is also another really nice thing about how this routing works, is we can change where that view is in particular. Just by adding that ng view, we can have it kind of map to different things as we see fit. So this is something for our general Angular view. But of course, as we've seen before, if I do blog list, this will also be everywhere. So what this might make you think is, oh wow, if I click on this, I see that blog list is still there. If I go to about, blog list should also still be there if I refresh it, right? So sometimes these changes have to propagate for a second. But the nice thing about this is now my URL routing is definitely a little bit more dynamic. So I can create these components just like we did here. I can create components that allow me to plug and play anywhere, because really what we're doing is we're making better HTML tags by using Angular. Okay, so that's just one more step on URL routing. We still have another one, and that is, if we look in here, this is not good. I don't want to write a route for every blog post I may have. So I'm going to go ahead and update that in the next one. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.